right, nephews, let's get straight into this tonight. Most of you are not confused. You're not lost. You're not missing information. You're not waiting on clarity. Nephews, you already know the truth. You just don't like what it means. So you keep negotiating with it. You felt the shift. You saw the messages. You heard what she said, and instead of accepting it, man, you explained it away. I apologize.
I guess by playing the trap music, Uncle Bill's saying, don't fall into the trap. Continue.
Bruh. All right, see, nephews.
We roll with it around here, guys.
You guys, man, don't usually lose because they don't know. They're losing because they hesitate. They wait. Or you guys, even worse, you're tolerating. Bro, my bad. All right, and by the time they finally accept it, respect is gone. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
4, 3, 4, 5 phantoms. Jordan's murders and the scammers. Crack it out, pray for you.
All right, that should take care of it.
4, 3, 4, 5 phantoms. Jordan's murders and the scammers. Crack it out, pray for you.
I don't think I'm gonna get TikTok on here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ask Your Favorite Uncles, the remix.
All right, nephews, let's try this one more time. This isn't about blaming women. This isn't about dating apps. This show is about self-governance, because every time you ignore disrespect, anytime you chase validation, anytime you stay in confusion, you tolerate what you shouldn't. You're training people how to treat you. And the truth here is most of you guys aren't out here getting played. You're participating in your own confusion. So tonight, nephews, we're here to tighten you up. We're going to show you a few things. We're going to show you how to read reality without letting your emotions cloud it. We're going to show you how to stop negotiating with what's already decided. And we're going to show you how to move with clarity, not hope. Because a man who moves with real game doesn't need to be told twice. Now, nephews, if you're dealing with something right now, call in. Drop a question in the chat. Email Uncle Johnny. We'll get you on next Monday's show. Ask the questions you've been avoiding. Because, nephews, the truth that you're trying to avoid, that's the one that's going to change everything for you. So tap in. Hey, Johnny, let's get to work tonight. This is Ask Your Favorite Uncles.
Well, so what's good, fellas? I'm Johnny Dumbbell, Pittsburgh's no bullshit personal trainer and life coach. Look, I give men real advice, real talk on fitness, mindset, dating, so you can stop getting played and start winning. You got questions? You saw the email link above. Send it to me. If you're contemplating doing something, guys, out in the real world, and you haven't talked to us yet, and what you're thinking of doing sounds stupid, reckless, irrational, something you saw in a movie, foolishly expensive, fiscally irresponsible, or anything else you've seen in a chick flick, talk to us first. One of us has probably done something or something similar to it and have learned the hard way why you don't do it. But the biggest thing we want to help you do is avoid the mistake of compromising your principles and doing what we call simping, because we know simps are not victims as they will act in the end. They're actually volunteers. She cannot belong to the streets and on a pedestal at the same time, fellas, and we're going to show you just that. Now, we've got great stories we can tell you, and we've got great stories that other members of the family can tell you. But we're not proud of our poor decisions. We're not saying that at all. But we are proud of the men that we've become because of what those outcomes have taught us the hard way. That's why we tell you we screwed up so you don't have to. Let's get it on a Monday night.
All right, Johnny, let's get to work.
So we have got now tonight. Not all of our questions actually have to do with dating, Uncle Bill. They don't all have to do with women relationships or anything like that. This is actually yeah. There's we have a question that actually has a lot to do with career moves and how we should be moving in our workplace to show that we are not there to earn a paycheck. We're there to run a business. And we got a question from Nick. He's a personal trainer, a new one. And so he's got interesting point here. He says a huge wave of body dysmorphia seems to be coming. He says, I have a rule of not taking on teenagers as clients, and that's probably a pretty good rule. They don't care about training, recovery, so it's a hassle to work with them. I was between my sessions at the gym today waiting for my client. A 16, 17-year-old kid asked me to spot him, and I agreed. He put on weight far above his capacity and had me pretty much upright row his last 3 reps. Fair enough. I don't expect maturity with kids. He complimented my physique and asked me how long I had been lifting. I kid you not. The look on his face, the shock in his face when I said it had been about a decade. He was not impressed at all at that point. He shows me an influencer on Insta with the name of Eric and mentioned that the guy is only 16 years old and looks better than I do. That influencer kid was absolutely on juice. The influencer kid was clearly on roids. I tried explaining to this guy how it is not possible to have the ability to bench 315 within 2 years of training. I don't think he really cared for my explanation either. I walked away from this kid because my client had arrived and I had an excuse to exit the conversation. A few minutes later, he came to me and straight away asked me if I take peptides or anything of that sort. Why are kids even knowing about peptides? It was a disheartening and frustrating conversation. It also solidified my opinion not to train teenagers. Social media has absolutely screwed with the real perception of people. Uncle Bill, we see a lot of fitness influencers in social media, and I think it's very easy to get caught up in what we call doom scrolling. Because, a lot of people think doom scrolling is just your wife looking at other people's perfect marriage and anniversary celebrations and wondering why you don't do it. That's part of it, but that's not all. Doom scrolling involves all different facets of life, and including, and frankly, especially fitness. Uncle Bill, do you think that social media has helped or hurt, not the fitness business itself, but those who are making that individual decision for their own life?
Okay, Johnny, if we're going to have an honest talk here about social media, then we need to address the fact that there's a reality distortion problem going on.
Absolutely.
All right. And there's danger here because the fake, when it becomes normal, real starts looking inadequate. And here's the thing. Reality doesn't care what you want, nephews. The influencer, he's not the standard. He's an illusion. All right. But here's where game gets a little bit deeper, because this man, he felt something. Okay. Even if it was small, even if it passed, I think the bigger problem here is his ego started to get touched. And that's the part that most men don't want to admit. Now, whether he wants to train kids or teenagers or not, it's his choice, but you don't need to convince the kid. Your job is to stay rooted in reality. Okay, here's the thing. Why would you explain yourself to somebody who doesn't care?
Yeah, I mean, he clearly already thought he knew everything because, hey, he knows how to Google stuff. And listen, as a personal trainer for the last 12 years, I can honestly tell you, I couldn't even begin to try to guess how many people would say, well, I Googled this. What do you think of that? And I don't mind when they say that, because they're not telling me that I'm wrong because of Google. They're saying, hey, I saw this when I Googled it. What do you think? So at least I'm getting that, and I'm not getting pushback based on an internet search. But at the same time, I think what's happening here is we've got two things happening. We've got a kid who honestly thinks that everything he sees online is reality. And we've also got a trainer who is, and I understand wanting to educate and wanting to kind of make people understand. It's nice when you can explain something to a client or even just a member of your gym and a light goes on in the fitness world, just like anything else in life. And I think you really, really wanted that to happen. But again, when you're 16, you think you're going to be 16 for a hell of a lot longer than you're actually 16. And this kid doesn't want to wait and doesn't want to put in the time and the effort. He wants to kind of try to add things to what he's currently doing to accelerate his process. In other words, this is a common teenage problem that has existed for as long as mankind has, is that he wants instant gratification and is willing to go to certain lengths to achieve it. That is something that I'm sure that when you were a teenager, when I was a teenager, we all kind of had in us at to some degree, maybe not this, maybe to a higher or lower degree. But the point is, He wants to get right to the results. And at 16 years old, most of us did. So again, understand your audience when you're explaining, when you're educating, when you're trying to kind of make sure that there's an understanding of what really goes into what you've been doing. The fact that it's taken you a decade to get to where you are, hey brother, we're in the same boat, you and me. I've been natural. I've always been natural. I've never taken any kind of peptides. I've never taken any kind of performance enhancing substance. I think the strongest thing I've ever taken is creatine, and that's not very strong at all. I mean, I try to keep everything natural, one ingredient foods for my nutrition, both for fueling and recovery. If you know what you're doing and you can meal prep, or even if you don't meal prep, if you just simply know how to spend 20, 25 minutes in the kitchen making yourself a good, healthy meal, that shouldn't be a problem for you. But you're natty, and that's probably what you were trying to explain to this kid. And again, he's interested in results today.
Well, the kid wasn't there to learn, Johnny.
No.
He was there to validate what he already believes. And as men, we don't debate illusions.
No.
We outlast them. Now, here's the thing, nephews. And Johnny touched on this earlier. If your standard comes from social media, you're always going to feel behind. Real men, we don't compete with these illusions. We build something that doesn't require validation.
Yeah, I mean, people post things on the internet because they have something spectacular to show you. So remember that when you're seeing these things that you think you should be matching or exceeding, these are the outliers. These are the outstanding athletes. These are the outstanding powerlifters. These are the outstanding botanists, the outstanding painters, the outstanding advice-giving uncles. You're going to find the best of the best on social media, but understand that doesn't mean you're supposed to measure up to it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I would say that, like I say, he's looking for instant gratification. And in a way, so were you. You wanted him to understand. You wanted him to kind of see your side of it. And again, he's probably still not as hard-headed as I was at 16, so good luck with that.
All right, Johnny, moving on tonight. Nephews, if you got questions, call in. Our phone lines are open. Let me put the number up.
While he's doing that,
live over on YouTube if you want to join the rest of the panel, and you can call in with the questions too. I got the number up on TikTok.
By the way, in the comments, if you got any 1-rep maxes you're proud of, let's see what they are. Bench press, squat, deadlift, I don't care what it is. One of the major ones, though, multi-joint movements here. So we got question 2. This is from Austin. Austin says, would you propose? First of all, I'm going to stop you there. I am never proposing again. Okay? So no. Anyway.
That's going to be a no for me, dog.
2 engagements and 1 marriage, I'm good. So he says, I'm in my mid-20s, and I recently got, and listen to this, he got a $600,000 injury settlement. So I just want to go ahead and say that if your uncles give you great advice, I like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. So, I mean, if you're in Pittsburgh. Anyway, he says, around the same time I started having seizures. He's on, Keppra now. So I can't really work physical jobs or drive the way I used to. I currently work as a caregiver for my brother, as I've always done this. So I still have an income, which is more than she currently earns. I believe that's coming from the state or from the insurance, whatever it happens to be. I'm also meeting with a financial advisor to eventually live off investments and dividends. My girlfriend of 4.5 years knows I got a settlement, but smart man, she doesn't know how much. She thinks it's a lot smaller, 5 to 10K. Hey, man.
Hey, yeah.
She's not your wife, brother. Since my seizure started, she's been pulling back a lot. She doesn't invite me over anymore and also says things like the following. 1, she doesn't want my problems to become hers. 2, she doesn't want to be the breadwinner. 3, she's not comfortable moving in together since I don't work an actual job and I can't drive. 4, she doesn't want to be the man in the relationship. Fellas, when she says shit like that, please know that the respect from her to you is gone. Anyway, she doesn't want to be the man in the relationship who has to drive me places. She also thinks me working as a caregiver is not an actual job, and basically he has been talking to me like a broke bum. I love her. Now, hold on. This is where I got to tell you, we're going to have to restrain ourselves from hitting the slap button here. I love her and was seriously thinking about proposing to her before all this. But now I feel like she'd say no. At the same time, part of me still wants to help her with things like college or a car. I had to. Which I know might not be smart. All right, he's on the right-ish track. I can't tell if she's I can't tell if she's just scared of my health issues or if she's checking out of the relationship. Brother, we can tell which one it is right now. At this point, I don't know what to do, but nothing. Yeah. At this point, I don't know what to do, but nothing would ever stop me from wanting to propose to this woman. Has anyone dealt with something similar in their life? I think that all of us who have would have known or found out the hard way that proposing is definitely the bad idea. That's the worst idea you could have right now. Bill, I want to break this down, not line by line, but concept by concept.
Johnny, I'm telling you, I'm not going to dance around this, nephew. She already gave you the answer. You just didn't accept it.
Gave you the same answer 5 times by paraphrasing.
When she said, I don't want your problems. When she said, I don't want to be the man. When she told you that you don't have a real job. And you're still asking, should I propose?
Bruh.
And if she finds out you got 600K, she's going to be fine. She's going to be letting you know that her problem should have to be yours.
Nephew, you can love her all you want, but this woman doesn't respect you.
Not even a little bit.
And a relationship without respect is not a relationship. It's going to be a slow breakdown. All right. And here's the dangerous part for you, nephew. You said something that you should have stopped cold. You said, I still want to help her, pay for things, support her. Nephew, that is not love. That's negotiating for acceptance.
Austin, if you want to give somebody, listen, if you really want to give somebody money to continue to treat you badly, Uncle Bill and I will gladly roast you for a cool $1,000 apiece.
No, absolutely not, nephew. I need you to understand that access is earned. You've already said this woman's pulling away. She's disrespecting your situation. This should be disqualification in real time. And for some reason, your response is let me invest more. Nephew, that's backwards. Look, let's keep it real here. Austin, you don't propose where you're not respected, where you're not being chosen, and honestly, where you're not being tolerated. Nephew, you exit. But hey, look, not emotionally, strategically. All right, clarity is the theme here, nephew. You're not confused. You're avoiding the cost of accepting it, because once you accept it, you have to move on. Now,
I mean, there's an old saying, if you don't leave now, your dignity will leave without you.
And nephews, look, I want you all to understand something. If a woman makes you feel like a burden, you're already out of position. And if you're trying to prove your worth after that, you lost twice.
Man. Yeah,
Johnny,
I mean,
I know. Okay, look, honestly,
the thing that kills me is he's still thinking of proposing.
Well, Johnny, this is somebody who needs no contact. And I know we got to talk about no contact all the time.
He's going to need the training wheels. He's going to have to block her. I don't think he's going to be able to do it on his own. Well, and hey, look, man, the first time you ever have to do this to somebody, especially somebody you've been with long term, I know it's going to seem wrong. It's going to feel wrong. Of course, it's going to feel wrong. Your life over the past 4.5 years, it's changing right now in front of your eyes. The problem is that it has been changing in front of your eyes for at least the last, 6 months here, however long it's been. You know, you have actually watched her gradually deteriorate in her treatment of you. And it's all because she is talking about being the breadwinner, doesn't want to spend all the money. She doesn't know that you have that money. She doesn't know that you're well off. And I would continue to not tell her. But the thing of it is, I would also continue to not talk to her. I would also continue to not be with her. I would also continue my life single and alone rather than continue it with her. You got to make a choice here, brother.
All right. Since we're talking about no contact, I need you to understand that going no contact is not to get her back. You're going no contact to get yourself back. So you got to accept certain realities. And I'm going to need you to look at that man in the mirror and say this to yourself. She does not respect me right now. Not she's confused, not she's scared, not she'll come around. No, she's actively pulling away from you and disqualifying you. And until you accept that, you're going to break no contact. So like I said, look in the mirror and say that to yourself. Now,
and I'm not going to ask you to ask yourself if you respect yourself, because of course you probably think you do. But the fact of the matter is that the question you should be asking is, what are you willing to go through if it means that she won't leave? If some of those answers sound a little outlandish, because to me they already do, I think that probably answers the question. And that's a hard reality to face too. I don't know anybody who has easily been able to look at himself and say, my God, I don't give myself enough respect. And that's what's happening here, man.
All right, so here's a clean-cut version of what no contact should look like for you, nephew. Mm-hmm. No texting, no calling, no checking in, no reacting to her stories, no watching her page, and God. No just being nice. You
like we said, doom scrolling.
Not emotionally, but behaviorally. Yep. And I'm going to tell you what not to do, nephew, because you're going to mess this up. You want to propose to this woman. You don't need to send any kind of closure messages. You do not need to explain your decision. You do not need to try to be understood. You do not need to offer help. That means money, school, car, nothing. You do not stay friends. You do not wait for this woman to change. And most importantly, you don't reward disrespect with access.
But Austin, if you do want to continue being a glutton for punishment, I'm going to disagree with Bill on one thing. She will change. She'll get worse. And the thing of it is that you are going to be convinced that it is you that influences her attitude and her actions. This is the steps she's taking. So the thing of it is, if you don't get out now, the time's going to come when she's going to find out about that $600,000. And then guess what? She'll probably treat you better for a little while. But then when she sees how far she can push you and you'll still take care of her. I mean, Jesus Jones, man, you're talking about paying her fucking tuition after you break up. You're talking about buying her a car. What is this, like a parting gift? Speaking of the prices right, they don't let you drive away with the car unless you win the damn showcase showdown or whatever the hell it's called. So guess what? You're basically giving away more than Drew Carey would. Okay? I almost said Bob Barker. That's how like 80s I am. By the way, spay and neuter your pets. No, but I mean, you know, you're giving away the prize. Not only without her playing the game, but with her losing the game is what you're saying. She didn't get the marriage, she didn't get the relationship, but as a parting gift, here's a free education and 4 wheels.
Nephew, this is critical. I need you to stop all investment. That ends now. You said you want to help her financially. No, that's not going to work. No paying for anything. No helping her get ahead. No being supportive. You don't invest in somebody who's exiting you. That's how men get used.
Yep.
Now, you got to rebuild your position. No contact. It's not just silence. It's replacement. So you're going to need to rebuild everything. Your income structure, first of all. Your daily routine is another one. And physical movements. And Johnny talks about this all the time. The Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. Shout out to Johnny. Most importantly, your independence. And that comes with your transportation. And because right now, look, your identity got hit harder than your relationship. Now, you're going to have to reframe your mindset because you're not being abandoned here. You're being shown the truth early.
Bless that bitch.
That's a win if you move correctly.
Yeah, you got lucky there, man.
Now, if this woman reaches out, and believe me, You start popping tags and blowing a bag everywhere, and she's going to. So here's the rule. You do not resume where things left off.
You know what I did recently?
Go ahead, Johnny.
I recently bought a beat to shit racing bike. You know, the kind they use in triathlons. Okay. And so I was looking at it and I thought, man, there's a lot wrong with this bike. There's a lot of things that are not going to make this bike roadworthy. And so I said, well, let's start with some simple things. I got new tubes and new tires. Needed brakes too. Got new brakes. You know, I had to tune up the shifters and the tensor wires a little bit. So I did that. There were some expensive things I had to buy as well. I had to get a new front rim. Here's the point I'm making, Austin. You are going to get a copy of the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge because I'm going to tell you, you're absolutely the prime candidate for it. And that is going to be the tires and tubes on the bike of your life here, buddy. We want you to start basic because I'm telling you, if you can make a habit out of getting to the gym 3 days a week for 4 weeks and then adding an extra day and doing that for 4 more weeks and make sure that you're doing good workouts. And if you're not sure what to do, you have no excuse because you've already contacted me once. You know how to get a hold of me again. But make sure you're building that physical strength, because while that's only on the surface in the minds of a lot of people, including yourself and to a certain degree myself, remember that is going to build to something deeper and much more important to you. Once you developed a routine and you realize that this is not for anybody else but you. I don't want you going into the gym trying to get big muscles to attract girls. I'm not trying to get you to go to the gym so you can get those washboard abs so that when you're riding on your boats here in Pittsburgh, all the girls in bikinis are looking at you. Remember who owns those boats. I want you to get there because I want you to be stronger for you. I want you to get there because you need more strength and stamina. You need more balance and endurance. And I want you to make sure that you are doing this for no other reason than to have a reason to wake up in the morning and say, today is another day for me to get better. Get to that. You guys, by the way, all 3 of you, I don't know if you're all watching, you're probably not, but if you see this later on, you're all going to get a copy of the first 4 weeks of the Johnny Dumbbell Challenge. It's going to be fully included with scheduled workouts and detailed workouts as well. We're going to give you an idea of what exercises, how many sets, and how many reps. Get to work, guys, because I'm telling you what, nothing she is doing in this situation is geared towards making your life better. She's doing that for herself, as you should be for yourself. Get to work, Austin.
Now, Johnny, I want to give him some more game on what to do when she reaches out. But before that, we got a comment here from South Central King.
She will.
Says, the OnlyFans chicks in the reality TV tricks, stop saying that one is better than the other for men in this generation, and all of us men need to address the situation. What do you think about that, Johnny?
I didn't quite follow. I'm having hell
the
time.
OnlyFans chicks in the reality TV tricks, stop saying that one is better than the other for men in this generation. And all of us men need to address this. Okay, Johnny, this kind of goes back to what you're saying about punctuation and grammar. You use it.
I mean, we appreciate the comment, really. I just took me a second to understand what you're saying. Appreciate
it. All right. Let's get back to this no contact now, because this is going to happen. This man's getting over $500,000. If you really get 600K, your whole life is going to change. And she's definitely going to try to reconnect. And if you start with I miss you, or I've been thinking about you, you're done for. You got to keep it short. You have to have no kind of emotional reopenings. And whatever you do, no deep conversations with this woman.
Yeah.
You should say that you're focused on getting your situation right now. And if she still shows that same kind of energy she has been showing you, you just disengage again. It's really easy. Now, here's the important part. This is the real game for you, nephew. No contact. It's not a trick. It's not a strategy to win this woman back. It's not a waiting game. It is a filter. Okay, what you're watching for. If she comes back. All right, what you're not asking, does she want me? What you should be asking yourself is, does she respect me now? If not, she doesn't get access again.
No, and I mean, the thing of it is a lot of the mistake a lot of you guys make is, she disrespects you, so you think that it's your fault because she wants you to think it's your fault. So now you start trying harder to make her feel better so she stops treating you badly, which makes her treat you worse. Now, I hate to make the comparison to substance abuse, but we see the same pattern a lot. You know, people who they get it, they need it, they get more. They need more, they get more. They need more than that, so they get more than that. They dump more and more of their life, their savings, and their dignity into this habit. Well, my friend, I'm glad to hear that you're not having that problem with substances, but you are having that problem with dopamine. You are having that problem with the hormone your body makes on its own. Most of all, you're having a problem with this person who doesn't treat you as if you belong in her life, but that you are a comforter or an accessory to her, you know, or worse yet, the bankroller to her life. Because I mean, the problem here is that this thing drags out longer. You know, that money is going to be used to plan a dinner to get her to cheer up and treat you better for a couple of days. But soon it's going to be weekend trips, then it's going to be vacations, then it's going to be the brand new car that you were going to buy her after you broke up any damn way. I can see this $600,000 being gone within, and I'll be generous here. I can see it's being gone in 3 years if you stick around and use that as a means of getting her to respect you. Because the thing of it is that no matter what, the more you spend, the less she's going to respect you. And eventually the worse she's going to treat you, because she's seeing what you are willing to throw at the situation every time she acts a fool towards you. I'm really hoping you see the pattern here as I describe it, because you would not be the first person that I've spoken with in my life who's gone through something like that. I've seen it happen to a couple of friends of mine, and one in a really bad situation where he wound up in a pretty nasty divorce. Don't do this to yourself, man. I mean, understand that if she's treating you like this as your girlfriend, imagine when she's got that 2 months salary worth of ring on her finger. Imagine when she's got that piece of paper and thus the bag. And then in this case, the bag is that settlement. Again, even if you don't marry her, if you're throwing money at the situation, you won't have anything to throw for much longer.
Johnny, you know, he could be stuck in a validation loop.
He absolutely is.
He pulls away. He feels the loss. He reacts emotionally. She pulls away again. A whole dopamine cycle.
Yeah, and this is why we tell you guys, we're not telling you that it's not okay to understand your emotions and explain them. No. What I'm telling you here is you are allowing her to see you in your moments of weakness, getting in your feelings about stuff, and she knows how to get you there at this point. I mean, after 4.5 years, I would imagine. This is a situation where you are losing a little bit now. But right now, all you're losing is a pride and a little bit of dignity. I would say before you lose 1 red cent to her, you know, understand that this is the level of respect she has for you when she doesn't know you have anything. This is the level of respect for you when she believes that what she sees is what she gets. This is the level of respect she has for the man that she originally got into a relationship with. Excuse me. And if this is the kind of emotional reaction you've always given, then I can imagine after 4.5 years, this ship's pretty well submerged. And money's not going to keep it afloat. Even if it did, it wouldn't be for long. Uncle Bill, what are some final thoughts on this one?
I think you're in worse shape than you realize.
Yeah.
Because you're going to miss this woman. And I really think, Johnny, I think he needs some one-on-one coaching with you off the air.
He did leave a phone number. I can call him. Yeah.
So, look, managing that much money. Okay, and let's talk about this for just a second, Johnny. We often talk about emotional regulation and self-control. So if you're struggling to do that with a woman, how are you going to be able to make moves in business?
Yeah.
You're talking about getting a very large, most people are never going to be handed $600K in their life. Okay. Right. So you're going to have an opportunity here that you better not fumble. So I'm talking, you're going to need financial planners, probably even an attorney to talk to in some cases. You should invest some of this money. I don't even want to tell you how to do that. But your whole life is about to change, and you need to take it a little more seriously. And some woman that honestly treated you like a burden doesn't deserve the life that you're about to have. Look, here's the thing. I think you made a real smart move by not telling her how much you were going to get.
Definitely.
And I think once you cut her loose and you heal a little bit and you move on, you're going to be able to find a woman that respects you, that appreciates you, and she's not going to care how much money you have.
But I highly recommend,
It ain't about the bag. It's going to be about you as a man.
Yeah, but I highly recommend that after this is over, and this will be over, hopefully on your terms, I want you to take that time. You know, like I say, I want you to take those 8 weeks to get to the gym. I want you to take some serious time for yourself. And when you wake up in the morning, instead of, waking up in the morning and wondering how you can please her, I want you to wake up in the morning and know what you can do to make yourself happy today, what you can do to make yourself stronger and better today. Now you are your own partner for a while. Nothing wrong with that, man. And you'll find as you go along that there are worse things than being alone. All right.
Nephews, call in with your questions. Our phone lines are open. TikTok, we're live over on YouTube if you want to join the rest of the panel. Links in my profile.
And by the way, if you guys are enjoying the show, hit that like and subscribe button, or you are stealing. No, I'm kidding. But hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell notification. You'll be notified when we post new content, and we got live streams coming up.
We appreciate all the love. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
Thanks, guys. So Eric here keeps it short and sweet. Question 3 here. So he is in a long distance relationship, or looks like he was. He says she broke up with me. She broke up with me, but she still sends me love notes every day and told me to check back in a couple of weeks. I have no idea what any of this means. Now, Eric, I'm going to cut you some slack because it says here you're 21. Now, 21, again, you got a brain and an eggplant and only enough blood to run one at a time, apparently. What's happening here is, but and the thing of it is, this girl is, and that doesn't say how far away she is. You didn't really tell me how often you guys see each other. And you know something? I really don't give a frog's fat ass fart about it. All right. What's killing me is this girl broke up with you and told you to check back in a couple of weeks. She might as well have just told you, hey, I'm banging somebody else, but in case Limp Dick here can't get it done, I'm going to call you back. You are second fiddle right now at best. And you have no idea what any of this means, and I understand that you're young, and that's why I'm going to cut you a little bit of slack and be a little bit nicer to you. If you were closer to my age, I'd have to bitch slap you. I'm sorry, but there would be no way I'd be able to let that slide. But since you want to know what, there it is. My delay's too much. So you say you have no idea what it means, and what it means is simply this: long distance relationship. I don't care what anybody says. It's not going to have as heavy an investment as if you guys were close enough to see each other more than, say, 2 or 3 times a week, if you wanted to. So it doesn't really require a whole lot of effort out of either of you in the physical realm of it. I mean, unless you're one of those couples, and please don't be one of these gross couples that is always on voice chat, always on video chat, rather, and just like constantly and never hanging up, falling asleep on video. Have you heard of these people doing this, Bill? Younger kids?
Yeah, I have.
Anyway,
one of the young men that I was coaching last year a little, he would fall asleep on FaceTime with this woman, Johnny, and I wanted him to understand that he was doing that out of an insecurity, because it wasn't a romantic gesture. He was ultimately worried that she was going to see somebody else would be cracking her when he wasn't on. I don't know what it was, but people shouldn't have access to you like that. That's weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, well, and again, I realize that we're Gen X and we grew up in an era where you didn't really have that luxury. And yes, we think it's pretty cool that you can do that nowadays. But it also is kind of crazy that your girlfriend has to see you fall asleep, or you have to see her fall asleep, or whatever happens to be. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is Eric, if you don't know what happened here,
location, I'm not even letting a woman go through my phone.
No.
We're done if you need to go through it.
Actually,
of course, there's other women in my phone. What are we talking about here?
One girl that I broke up with, this is probably about 8 years ago. She demanded to go through my phone. I said, I'll tell you what, you have a choice. You can either drop that topic right now and we can just move on and you can trust me from now on, or you're welcome to go through my phone, and when you hand it back to me, I'm leaving and we're done. Right, she thought I was bluffing, dude. I swear to God, she thought I was bluffing. So I gave her my phone unlocked. She found nothing, of course. I took the phone. I said, all right. And the look on her face could have stopped the clock. I mean, the shit she started after that, because I actually held to my word, was the whole other story. But yeah, she really didn't think I was going to walk away. But again, gentlemen, you stick to your guns and be loyal to you. And this is the kind of thing you could avoid happening. But here's the thing. In a long distance relationship here, like this one, she breaks up with you. And I mean, really, what changes? I mean, she's still not going to see you tonight, tomorrow, this weekend, whatever happens to be. But if you'd stayed together, she probably still wouldn't see you tonight, tomorrow. The difference is she would have had to stay in touch with you, text messages, phone calls, whatever. But she wants you to check back in a couple of weeks, which tells me two things. Number one, she doesn't want to talk to you for a couple of weeks. And number two, you got to check back with her in case she's having so much fun that she forgets to get back to you. That's what that sounds like to me. So now, not only does she say, hey, maybe in a couple of weeks, but it's not like she's planning on getting dumped and come crawling back to you in a couple of weeks, even though that may happen. What she's planning on is, hey, I'm going to be out having fun, doing my thing, enjoying myself, and I'm probably going to forget to get back to you. But yeah, check back with me in a couple of weeks so that I can tell you I'm having too much fun to get back with you. And the thing of it is that it's either that or the check back in a couple of weeks was, in her mind, her way of letting you down easy. Because that's another option for her too. This is a situation where she really is saying, yeah, maybe check back in a couple of weeks, but don't check back in a couple of weeks.
Johnny, this is the breadcrumb trap.
Yeah.
Okay. He got broken up with. It wasn't halfway. She broke up with him. Now, everything after that is access she shouldn't have. She says, send love notes. Check back in a couple weeks. And you're thinking, what does this mean? Nephew, it means she wants emotional access without any kind of commitment to you. And you're giving her attention. You're giving her emotions. You're giving her presence. After she removed commitment, she removed clarity. That's imbalance. You got to understand it's respect over love. Okay. A woman who doesn't respect you, that's what you're dealing. No,
2000 Joe says, Joe says, give that chick the boot. She's an asshole.
All right. She doesn't respect you. She broke up with you. She's trying to keep you close. She's trying to keep you confused. And that's not love, nephew. That's control. No. So the real move here is silence. No explanation. No, certainly no kind of emotional goodbye.
And if she's emotionally intelligent, she won't need an explanation.
Nephews, you can't heal from someone who still has access to you. All right, and here's the thing. The clarity is already here. Nephew, this is what we talk about when we try to teach you how to read the room. She broke up with you. That's her decision to make. Everything else is noise. Nephews, if you're confused after a breakup, it's because you're still participating. All right, look, Johnny, I got to be honest here. Austin, we talked a little bit about no contact with him, but he was kind of getting breadcrumb too. And these women,
and it didn't take much to get him to follow the crumbs. He was getting bird drops and he was still picking them up.
They give you just enough to keep you hooked without giving you anything real. So when you get, okay, and here's why this is a trap. It only works with one type of man. I'm going to be honest with you. And it only works with a man who seeks validation.
Yep.
And that's because every message feels like
validation is more
cares. Maybe this isn't over. Maybe I still do matter. So what do? Nephew, you stay available. And like I was talking earlier about the validation loop, and I'll explain a little bit more about that because I'd really like you to pay attention. because this is exactly what's happening to you. She pulls away. You feel that loss. She sends a breadcrumb. You feel some sort of relief. Now you reattach emotionally, and it just leads her to pull away again. And like I said, it's that dopamine cycle of pain, relief, attachment, repeat. And that's not love, nephew. That's conditioning.
And the sad thing is you crave it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and this is, we're not just talking about dating here, Johnny. We're gonna move this to manipulation patterns for a little bit, because this is kind of, we're getting into narcissistic behavior here. And I'm going to give you some real game and not buzzwords for all this. Shout out to Colton. He wants to know how all we're doing tonight. Hey, Colton, I'm about to break down narcissistic behavior. That's how we're doing tonight.
Yeah, baby.
All right. So not every woman is a narcissist. Let's
not at all.
Get this straight right now, because I need you to understand, narcissists, men, women, they have certain behaviors, and these behaviors are consistent. And that's going to be stuff like hot, cold communication. That's going to be trying to keep you close without any kind of commitment to you. Another narcissistic behavior is going to be intentionally creating confusion instead of clarity. A narcissistic woman will prioritize control over connection. And also, and this goes for men and women, narcissistic behavior, they reach out when you go to pull away. And that's not an accident. That's control through emotional access. And I'm going to give you the game on how to spot this early, nephew, because we really look out for you here. All right.
That's the vampire you invite into your house.
If you feel confused more than you feel clear, that should be a red flag. Okay. If you feel anxious more than you feel grounded, if you feel like you're waiting more than this is moving forward, or even most importantly, nephew, if you feel like you're unsure where you stand, then you're not really in a healthy dynamic. And here's what happens with narcissistic behavior, narcissistic relationships. A trauma bond starts to form. And this is a real hook. Trauma bonds form when inconsistent behavior creates a form of emotional dependency. And you don't bond through stability. That's the craziest thing. You bond through these ups and downs. And I'm telling you, I've experienced this myself. Now, I'll even give you, and so I could really go into trauma bonds. I could go hard on this, but that's really not what we're talking about. I just want you to be aware of it. We're raising awareness, nephew. So here's some signs that you're already trauma bonded to this woman. You crave her attention even after she hurts you.
Especially after she hurts them.
Another sign that you're trauma bonded to a woman is that high you feel when they come back. I'm telling you, I've experienced that too. Another sign is you start justifying her poor behavior, her bad behavior in some instances. Some of these women aren't even good people. Let's be honest here. And another sign that you've been trauma bonded, from my own experiences, you struggle to detach even when it's clearly over. You miss the chaos, not the person. And I'll tell you why it's so hard to leave. It's like your brain really isn't chasing the person as much as it's chasing that feeling cycle, that dopamine, that oxytocin. And you question, like, what does this mean? And now, the real question should be, why am I still here? And I'm going to give you the real game, nephew. If you are trauma bonded, how you need to break it, because you're only going to be able to do it through discipline. I'm talking about, this is where real discipline comes in. You need to cut the source. Yeah, we talk about no contact. There's a good reason for that. So no partial cuts, no reduced. I'm talking about complete removal of access to your life. because every breadcrumb is going to reset that cycle. And you stop interpreting. You stop analyzing. Don't look. Reread these texts. Don't analyze behaviors. You observe behaviors and act accordingly. And here's the thing. I need you to stop asking, do I matter to her? And start asking yourself, why am I giving my value away?
Or do I matter to me is more like it, yes.
And look, I'm going to tell you something else that no one else is going to. You need to expect withdrawal, because this part is real. And you're going to feel the urge to check. You're going to feel the urges to respond. You're going to feel emotional drop-offs. And nephew, that's not love leaving. That's the addiction breaking. Yeah. You need to rebuild your baseline. You replace that cycle with structure, with routine, with physical movement. But why do you think I'm such an advocate for going to the gym?
Absolutely.
And most importantly, purpose-driven work. Because emptiness is what's going to pull you back.
Yep.
Now, I don't think you're confused. I think you're attached to this inconsistency here. And I need you to understand this. If she wanted you in her life, you wouldn't need to decode her behavior.
No.
And look, for all you nephews watching, I want you to understand that clarity, it feels boring when you're in these situations, and confusion feels exciting. And that's how manipulation hides.
Yep.
Break the cycle. Take your power back.
Yep.
Donnie, you got anything else for him tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a real quick shout out to our live chat tonight. You guys were awesome. You showed up in numbers. We love you. Corchus family, thank you. We got NV Sheet, I think it looks like, or NV Shet. We got Crab Breather, all right. Thanks for coming by. We got Brady B boy, sorry. 2000 Joe C, good to see you, man. South Central King, love the comment. Mini Mom, as always, we're always happy to have you aboard.
Bless that bitch.
Colton, man, again, tune in on Thursday, man. We got a great show coming up for you on there, and you can see this kind of content every Monday night live. But yeah, if you guys had a great time, please, one more time, hit that like and subscribe button. Again, that bell notification, it really helps our algorithm. I mean, hell, even if you didn't like it, hitting the down thumb helps our algorithm. So, you know, whatever it happens to be, let us know. But yeah, I mean, other than that, between now and Thursday, we will not be able to come to the jail with bail money. So obey the law, behave yourselves, keep the drugs and alcohol to a minimum. But if you do drink, don't drive. And if you do drive, don't park, because accidents cause people. Good night.
All right, nephews, real quick, before we get out of here, if you felt something tonight, good. That means something in you recognized the truth. Because every situation that we broke down tonight, it really wasn't about confusion. It wasn't about bad luck. It wasn't about timing. It was about men seeing the truth and choosing not to act on it. We had guys who saw the illusion, saw the disrespect, experienced the breakup, and all three of them did the same thing that most men do. They hesitated. They waited for more proof. They waited for confirmation. They waited for it to hurt enough before they finally accepted what was already clear. All right, nephews, let me give it to you straight here. That first sign was enough. You just didn't trust yourself. And that's where men lose. It's not because they don't know. It's because they don't move. You felt the shift. You seen the message. You heard what she said. And instead of standing on it, you negotiated with it. You told yourself, hey, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I should just give it a little more time. No, that was your moment to lead. Because when you ignore reality, reality is going to correct you every time. And nephews, it does not do it gently. It never does.
Not usually.
All right. So what's the move? We're going to tell you. You're going to stop chasing clarity. Right away. Stop chasing clarity. That means stop explaining yourself. Stop investing in people who are already pulling away from you. And then you start doing something that most men avoid, nephew. You hold the line, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it costs you someone, even when you don't get the outcome that you wanted. Because a man with real game, we understand this. Not every loss is a loss. Sometimes it's exposure. Sometimes it's protection. And sometimes it's the exact moment you stop abandoning yourself. And that's the shift. That shift from why did this happen to me to why did I stay when I saw it happening? So if you take anything away from tonight, nephews, please take this. Clarity doesn't come from more information. It comes from acting on what you already know. So if you're in something right now, something that kind of feels off, something that you keep thinking about, something you keep trying to make sense of, don't wait. Don't explain it away. Don't negotiate with it. Move. Because the longer you stay in confusion, I promise you, the more it's going to cost you. And if you got value from tonight, hit that like button. Call in next time. And if you got something you're dealing with, put it in the chat. Right, Uncle Johnny.
Especially
we'll get you on next Monday show. Nephews.
Especially like my bad. Go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead, Johnny. I just want them to take more action in their life. Nephews, I want you to stand on what you know. I want you to protect your peace so you can build your life and go forth and conquer. All right,
looks like Colton here has been tuning in for about a month. He says he went to a dance the other day, and he got no rest on the slow songs on the floor, man. Sounds like he says, I followed the advice from you guys and own the moment, start to finish. Dude, that's what we preach, baby. Let's go.
Hey, Cole, thanks for writing in. I'm glad to hear from you tonight. I appreciate it. All right, nephews, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our stream tonight. We're going to be back Thursday night breaking down ladies' Bumble dating profiles because we're trying to give you the online game too. We want to teach you how to move as men, and we do that by leading by example. So we're going to be pulling up my Bumble and seeing what the women in the Youngstown area are working with Thursday night. Shout out to all the lovely ladies on Bumble. We love you all, even if we don't like you. All right, Johnny.
Until then, make like a tree and get out of here.
All right, nephews. Thanks for